Now, before we get into anything funny, I like coming here. This is where my favorite sign in the whole world is. It's over on Brainerd Road. There's a sign out in front of a business over there. The sign says, Lawnmower Repair and Income Tax Service. Lord knows we've been needing something like that. Oh yeah. Just think how many times over the years you and I have carried our lawnmower in to get it fixed. And while we were there. We probably said to ourselves, well, I'd like to get my taxes done while I'm here. I guess they'll franchise that out now. See, you have to wonder where the guy got the idea for a business like that. Did somebody go in there one day to pick up their mower, and they said to him, you know, you did a job on this mower. I think I'll let you do my taxes. But I tell you what, folks, at least in this part of the country, the Midwest, the Southeast, see, we have to deal with the very worst Mother Nature can throw at the human race. See, on the West Coast, California, they don't have tornadoes, and they don't have hurricanes. That's just on this coast. Tornadoes occur in the Midwest, the Southeast. New England, like Vermont, Rhode Island, they don't have tornadoes. You've heard the expression, it's biblical, and your mother has said it. You've heard it. God never gives us more, or puts more on us than we can handle. That's how come he sends that stuff to us. He would never send a tornado to damn California. Hell, they just couldn't deal with it. That's why all they get out there is what I call silly weather, limp-wristed weather. Like mud's like mud, it's damn mud. Where else in America would mud be a natural disaster? Down here, we put big wheels on something and get out and play.
Some of y'all may know this. For the past 2 years, I've been dealing with an equilibrium problem. Y'all know what that is? Hell, you just fall down. And it's getting worse than better. And 3 days ago, I fell in the parking lot at the bank. However, about 3 weeks ago, I took a major fall. I just hit my head. I called the paramedics. They got there very quickly. I was in the hospital for 2 days. They did all kind of testing, and they assured me that there was no brain damage. I said, hell, no brain damage? I'll just go to Nashville. So, hell, here I am. But anyways, just so you know, folks, I've only fallen one time while I was performing, and that was in Talladega, Alabama, at the Ritz Theater. And here's what happened. This was not even around. I just moved forward like a foot, and I fell flat on my face, and they all just started applauding. They thought it was part of the show. And I made the mistake of saying, I've fallen and I can't get up. They thought I was doing a skit. And they just kept applauding. They wouldn't help me up. So you folks on the front row right here, if I topple over and you don't catch me, I'm gonna sue you. So, But everything's good, though. Hell, I'm in great shape. Just glad to be here. There's always something going on. The year before all that started, people thought I was kind of handicapped because I couldn't hardly walk with my right leg. What happened was I had pulled a groin muscle. If you fellows have ever pulled a groin muscle, that can be devastating. And I was so embarrassed because I pulled the groin muscle at Golden Corral. I'm not making this up. Dan McGinney would tell you this happened. We were on Interstate 85 going towards Charlotte. I saw a billboard that said, all you can eat buffet. I said, well, hell, let's just have lunch. Exited, went down this access road. As we were approaching the entrance to Golden Corral, a church bus. Yeah. A women's auxiliary bus. A whole busload of fat Christian women. I mean, God bless them. I told Dan, I said, we better run. If those fat women get in line first, we'll be here all damn day. And that's what happened. I was just rushing, not paying attention. As I come in the entrance, somebody had spilled either tea or water on the floor. I didn't see it. I slipped. I caught my left hand on this hand railing, but my right leg kept going. Ah, damn, it hurt. And it really hurt when I woke up the next morning. So what I did, I went to one of those little urgent care centers. They did some x-rays, and the doctor told me, he said, you have pulled a groin muscle. I said, are you sure? He said, well, somebody pulled it. I said, well, it had to be me. So the moral of the story is this, folks. Don't make fun of people. God will knock you down. I made fun of those fat women, and God came in my eyes like, man, you're about to do it.
You and I are supposed to pretend that we're concerned about the homeless. Oh, look. Well, yank. I don't give a rat's ass about them. I'm fed up with them. Here's what you can try. Next time you see the guy standing on the corner with that cardboard sign, I will work for food. You know the guy's been out there every day now for 3 years. Lucrative location. Won't you pull over? Open your car door. Say, hey, fella, I see your sign there. You'll work for food. I got an acre of land that needs clearing off. Hop in. He won't get in. I know, there's a guy a few blocks from my house, same corner every morning, almost for 3 months, getting on my nerves, really. So one morning when traffic wasn't too bad, I pulled over. He had this sign that says, I will work for food. I offered this guy an onion to paint my house. He gave me the finger. So the homeless can be rude. You know? Hell, it was a Vidalia. Everybody's got one person in their family or one close relative that is so stupid. It's the one you can't argue with. I tell you what, it's the same relative that keeps missing the 6 o'clock news because he don't know what time it comes up. I got an uncle that way. They do about my uncle. The bank called him up, told him that his account was overdrawn, so he mailed him a check. His dream in life is to own a 2-story mobile home. I told told him, I said, Uncle Robert, there's no such thing. He says, well, they ought to be for people that's got money. Anyway, we was over at his house one night watching television. The Muppets had this TV special on. Miss Piggy come on the TV screen, and my uncle said, I bet you that's not a real pig, I just bet it ain't. I mean, I don't care how many degrees you got hanging on the wall, you can't argue with that idiot. Well, Uncle Robert, I believe you're right about that. Well, heck yeah, I'm right. Let me tell you something. I've been around pigs all my life. I will say this. From the neck up, the whole head. That looks authentic. But a real pig wouldn't wear a dress like that. He's the kind of guy that brags on his dog all the time. You ever heard somebody say this when they're bragging on their dog? They'll say, he don't know he's a dog. He don't. He thinks he's one of us. I tell him, I say, you paid $100 for that puppy. Get your money back. He's got brain damage. If he don't know he's a dog, he's going to spend his whole life running around wondering to himself, why am I barking? It's a changing world we're living in now. Oftentimes, these days, we don't even know our neighbor. We certainly don't know the couple 2 miles down the highway. We've now got strange people living in our communities. Damn strange. Like vegetarians. Trust me, those buffoons are out there. And you can't spot them. Hell, they look just like me and you. And you have to rent to them. It's the law. Vegetarians can live anywhere they want to. Just like regular Americans. These are now your neighbors. So now when you have a death in the family, it's these health conscious people. And God bless them, they don't mean any harm, they just don't know any different. They're the ones that will show up at your front door in your time of grief with fruit. Well, hell, I'd just soon not lose a cousin. I just don't understand vegetarians. I could be driving down the highway and see a cow in a pasture. I'll get it. But I have never, not once in my life, and neither have any of you, not once, ever heard a vegetarian go, I smell squash. Now, before we get into anything funny, I like coming here. This is where my favorite sign in the whole world is. It's over on Brainerd Road. There's a sign out in front of a business over there. The sign says, Lawnmower Repair and Income Tax Service. Lord knows we've been needing something like that. Oh yeah. Just think how many times over the years you and I have carried our lawnmower in to get it fixed. And while we were there, we probably said to ourselves, well, I'd like to get my taxes done while I'm here. I guess they'll franchise that out now. See, you have to wonder where the guy got the idea for a business like that. Did somebody go in there one day to pick up their mower, and they said to him, you know, you did a job on this mower. I think I'll let you do my taxes. Let me tell you something. If you have not said this already, you will in a few years, but you heard your parents or your grandparents say it. And that is, they'll say, I don't think I'll ever be as happy again as I was as a small child. That was true yesterday, today, that'll be true forever. Small children will always be happier than adults because small children haven't learned yet that they're supposed to worry about their appearance, what they look like. That all becomes important when you approach your teens and you want to start going out with people. And when you look like I do, you end up dating some of the ugliest creatures, don't you? But I'm going to tell you, fellas, something. Once you get used to it, it ain't all that bad. I remember the first girl I went with in high school. I'm not going to say she was a dog, but when I met her, she was 15 years old. Now, that'd be 105 to me and you. And I know, being average Americans, every day of your life, this thought goes through your mind at least once. Some mornings when you wake up, it's the first thought on your mind. And that is, wonder why anybody wants to be on Family Feud. Well, here's what I think. I keep visualizing some family out around Nebraska or Iowa, sitting around the dinner table one evening. The husband says, honey, you know what? They ought to be a way that we can let this whole country know our family's illiterate. Now, wait a minute. I know everybody here in Des Moines knows it already. I mean, coast to coast, just let them know we don't have a lick of sense. You know? So you end up watching them on the show. The lady introduces everybody. Now, Richard, I'd like for you to meet our handsome son, Eric. And that makes you sit up straight because you can see Eric's ugly. Eric's a senior at UCLA. He'll be graduating this year. And you're thinking Eric's going to do all right on this show. He's going to college. Now, later on in the program, it's Eric's turn to answer. And we all know what tough questions they have on Family Feud. Now, see, once again, in Mississippi, that line won't work. Down there, when I say, you know what tough questions they have on Family Feud, the whole audience is going, oh, yeah, boy. Anyway, the question for Eric is, name one of the states that begins with the letter K. And of course, Eric is stumped on this. But just before the buzzer sounds, he says Connecticut. Am I upset with Eric? No. It's that family of his. Good answer. Good answer. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard rumors that Kmart now has a brain surgeon on their payroll. I mean, it's kind of obvious those cashiers got their lobotomy somewhere. You ever heard somebody say this? I think I'll make a quick stop here at Kmart. Not likely, no. Takes you 30 seconds to find what you want and the rest of your life to get through checkout. Now, let me illustrate this for you very quickly. It's Saturday morning, you're off work, you're cleaning the apartment. You need one can of Comet for the bathroom, that's all you need. You run over to Kmart, you know you won't be in there long, so you park where it says no parking. You leave the motor running. You dummy. But sure enough, once you get in the store, it only takes you about 30 seconds to find what you want. You got your hand on this can of Comet, and you're so happy. You're almost bubbly. Store's not crowded. Matter of fact, you're the only one there. Now you get up there to pay for it. It's just you, one can of Comet, and the Kmart cashier.
And you know what she's like? Sir, these are 2 for $1. And you just got 1. Well, of course she's stumped. What a math problem. Customer assistance, register 1. You know, if I could be serious for a moment. You know, you hear people say all the time that we Americans aren't as civilized as we used to be, not as humane as we once were. After all these years that have gone by, half the people blame that on Vietnam, the other half blame it on Watergate. I blame the whole situation on Colonel Sanders. And I know you're sitting there and you're saying, I hope he explains that. I will, that's my job. You realize before Colonel Sanders came along, the only thing that ate dinner out of a bucket was a hog? Now he's got everybody doing it. Let's say you go down to the Kentucky Fried Store. They're waiting on the man in front of you. He's about 5'8". He weighs 340 pounds. He can't hardly breathe. And I'm glad to see y'all find that funny. Yeah, man's gasping for air. Yeah, we'll laugh at that. You're my kind of people. Now, you know how they got the menu on the wall over the counter? All this man can do is breathe and point. Like, and the girl says, "Can I help you?" I feel so stupid doing this. At this point in the show every night, you know what thought goes through my mind? James, why don't you just go get a job? It's too late. You know, I could have been a forklift operator. I could. My dad was, and his dad before him. When I got out of high school, my dad could have got me on down there at the plant where he works. Just like that. But did I take it? No. I want a bucket of chicken. And then the girl says something ridiculous like, how do you want that cooked? You want original, extra crispy, or what? Trust me, people, this man don't care. She could spit in there, he don't care. Give him a live chicken, he'll kill it. She's talking to a human being that's about to eat a bucket of food.